No.
to
No,
sing.
like it's a nice idea that you're growing all the time as a writer, and that
Mm,
the next book you might iron out a few things that you maybe niggled from the previous book, and that at each one you find your confidence and you find your flow, and that each one
yeah.
gets better than the last. That's a really nice aspiration, I think, rather than having this hugely successful debut and always having to live up to that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it hasn't happened. I mean, I'm not that I would say no to the money because like you'd never say no to the
No,
money,
who would?
but I'm glad it didn't happen that way. Amy,
Mm.
when so it's a question I like to ask. When
Okay.
did you know that you were a storyteller? Because I always feel like you can be a good writer and like
Mm,
write well, like you know your grammar and your punctuation. But when
yeah,
did you know you could tell stories?
I don't know, but I do remember, I have three younger sisters and you play
Mm.
with your dolls, your Barbies, whatever. And I always wanted to direct the narrative of the game. So I think maybe it's just been controlling rather than being a storyteller. I would give their Barbies dialogue, and my sister would either join me or get fed up. But I would get them to play out a scene. So I always had a scene for the dolls to play out and words they should say. So I think I was just creating a story for the dolls and trying to get my sisters involved in playing that out. And one of my favorite ever things to do was English essays. It was just such a joy if we got that assignment. And my mother said that, like, from 5, I was bringing her scraps of paper with stories. Please, will you read this? And she said they really freaked her out because they were really dark. It was always like a monster hiding in the backseat of the car on a family trip and stuff. But it's just a part of my life. Like all my memories contain stories, either reading
Yeah.
them or writing them or making my sisters act out my stories with the Barbie dolls. It was just always there.
Is your family creative?
There isn't anyone else who paints or writes or any of the traditional creative things. Singing would be a thing when we gather, when people gather together. But no, not particularly creative. No.
Do you ever wonder where it comes from then? Because I always wonder. Because I have creative parts to my family. Yeah, they some sing. I'll go one of my cousin he acts.
Oh,
He's always doing stage plays and stuff. So there is that creative that flows through it.
yeah,
But you do wonder like where does it come from? Especially when you're writing, and some days it doesn't work, and then
yeah,
there are days when it just
yeah.
flows out of you.
Well, there's something